Today I'm going to teach you some flips and also some kind of flips. To start with, I'm going to show you the free sample of trick that I'm going to teach you today. The first one will be a thumb flip, which is putting the first chips to the back of the whole stack of chips. Okay, this is how it's done. I'll show you again on the side view. Pull that one up, down to the other side. So that's one of the simplest flip. The next one I'm going to teach you today as well, it's called a finger flip, which means using a finger to get the front chips to the back of the whole stack. Something like this. Or I can show you on the side view. Pull the front chips, put it back there. Okay. The next one I'm going to teach you is also very hard. It's called the lockout. What it means is still using a finger. Instead of pulling the chips, this time you're going to push the chips and go all the way around to the whole stack and go to the back. Okay, this is how it looks like when it's done. I'll do it in slow motion so you can exactly see what's happened to my finger. But now I'm going to show you more side view of it. So you see the front chips going back to the back of it, and that's called lockout. Okay, now I can start teaching you the first one, which is the thumb flip. Thumb flip, first of all, you need 2 or more chips. Well, possible up to 5. It's a very comfortable way to do it. Probably between 3 to 4 chips. Some people are better off with 4 chips. Some people are better off with 3 chips, depending how big on what you're comfortable with. I won't even recommend 2 chips or 5 chips, because 2 chips is not enough chips. 5 chips is too many chips. I would recommend using 4 or 3 chips to do this one. So the first step of this trick is try to get the first chip up. And how do you do that is you hold a stack of chips, so even without that finger, you're still holding it. That's the position you want. It's in almost half. If you can hold it like that, then you can just use that finger to balance the whole stack of chips. So that finger is actually not really holding it. It's there to balance the chips. From here on, if you can hold it nicely, firmly, then now you can move your thumb to the very bottom of the very first chips in like an angle shape. Don't put it too much like a straight line. Put it in the angle so you can catch the first chips. Move it up as much as possible, and at the same time try to rotate that chips. If you can't, then doesn't matter too much, but try to lift it up as much as possible. From this point, you try to drop it, or using your thumb to rotate the chips and drop it in the whole stack, then you just put it down. It doesn't really need much training, but you do need a bit of practice. But first of all, make sure you can hold it without any of those fingers. Then you balance it, take the bottom of that chips, go high as possible, drop it to the back of it. So I'll show you one more time. Up much as possible, drop it. Okay? Then in essence, if you want to practice that trick without the chips, you are trying to get that motion of your thumb like that all the time. So the thumb's going round and round and round. That's the motion you're going to use for your thumb. For your other fingers, you need to try to balance the stack and hold it firm. That's what you need to do with those 3 fingers. Hold it, so then on those half line, not too much on the top. Don't hold it too much on the top, otherwise it will drop anyway. You need that back finger then, you can't let it go. Or too low, then you still can hold it, but then you need your stack must go four back more. It's more difficult to do that motion. So the advice is always lead to half as much as possible without the third finger. Balance it, lift it up as much as possible, drop it in the back. So that's all I can show you, and now I can teach you on that one. The rest is up to you to practice. Okay, from now on, we show you the second lesson on the second trick, which is the finger flip. Finger flip, similar thing, but now you're using your fingers. the first, that finger. To do that, you must hold the chip with these two fingers in this case. In the first case, it was used to these two fingers. Now you use your thumb and that finger to holding it. Then you use that finger to balance it, probably in halfway between that. So you leave it there, or anywhere that is comfortable for you. At this stage, you use your thumb to hold the corner of that chips if you can. Then pull that chips up, which is very difficult. If you can get it up, then you can drop it. You go over the top and drop it to the back. The difficult bit is getting the chips up. Some cases you can just pull the 3 chips down, and some people does it. They pull the chips down instead of moving that one up. They can use it, so you're using that finger to pull the 3 chips down, so they got more of gap. Then put that one back. Maybe that's easier for you. In which other case you're comfortable with, you can try to pull the other chips down with that finger, and then pull it over. If you find easier that way, then do it that way. There's not just one way of doing a finger flips. There's different way of doing finger flip. The hardest way I found would be just how to pull that one up, because you don't have much gap here to get it over. This is where they tend to get those black one falls back. But that would be the hardest way to do it. But there's no reason you can't do it the other way, which is pulling those 3 chips down and then turn it over. So any way you can do it is that is the technique. Holding the chips with those 2 fingers, balance it with that one, and then try to pull that one up or pull the other 3 down, whichever way you're comfortable with, and get that chips to that side of the stack. It's one of the quite difficult ones. Okay, the third chips trick I'm going to show you, which is called a lookout. It looks very nice, but it's also quite difficult. You're using a same holding as the finger flip, which is holding the same way, and balance it and hold it. Now instead of pulling the first chips to the back, you're pushing it now. You see, you're pushing it, so it goes like you do the thumb flip, which means you go push it as high as possible and try to do a drop on the back. So your motion will be the fingers going like around, you know. That's where the difficult bit comes. It's not used. Most people's fingers are not used to go around in circles. So if you can, I gotta catch chips back again. So I'll show you again. Holding it with 2 fingers, balance it, push the front chips to the back, and go around to drop it to the back. So that will be the knockout. Okay. For one more time, I'll show you all 3 tricks quickly. So that will be the end of this lesson. First one, thumb flip. Hold it with 2 fingers. I mean, these 2 fingers. Try to let that go and see if you've got the right position. Balance it. Put your thumb down as much as possible. Don't try to get it up here. It won't work. You've got to get it down to the very bottom. Then up as much as possible. Do a circle motion with your thumb. Then it naturally drops to the back. Second one, the finger flip, same as I said before, holding with these 2 fingers, balance it, pull the front one up, or pull the 3 at the back down, whichever way, pull that one up, which is I'm doing, and onto the whole stack, back to the back end. The last one, which is a lookout, same thing as holding like a finger flip, balance with that, but this time, instead of pulling the first chips back, you're pushing the first chips to the back. So that's lesson 1 for the flips. Okay.